Hi, welcome back to the channel. In case you don't know, my name's Nancy and I love to sew. I also love to collect fabric, sewing supplies, sewing patterns, and everything related to sewing and crafting. So I've recently picked up some more fabric, and I know in the sewing community we love seeing each other's fabric hauls. So I'm going to go through all of the fabric that I thrifted recently and all of the fabrics that I've bought, some sewing patterns that I'm planning on making with some of these fabrics. That way you can get some pattern recommendations too. And on top of the fabric, I've also purchased a bunch of notions and some other patterns and sewing supplies. And maybe you discover some new sewing brands that you've never heard of before. We have a lot of fabric to get through. Okay, so first in the fabrics are two from Blackbird Fabrics. We love Blackbird Fabrics. We know Blackbird Fabrics. They're great. They're amazing. But I picked up two linens from them. And the first one is this nice checkered navy linen. And it's a part of their soft wash linen series. So it's very, very soft, very flowy. It has really good drape. I think it's gonna look so nice. And it already has that sort of like washed feel. Linen can be kind of crisp when you first get it, so this is great. I bought this with the intention of making a dress from Sew Make Bake, and it's the dress that I am testing right now. So if the pattern is out, then I will link it down below. If not, then you'll see it eventually. But yeah, I just love this one. If I don't end up using it for that dress, I will just save this fabric. I'm sure there's gonna be something that I'll wanna make this summer. Maybe some other new patterns are gonna come out, and I'll just use this for those. Also from Blackbird is this other soft wash linen. So this is like a cherry gingham, and it's so cute. It's such like picnic vibes. Same deal, I had bought this with the intention of using it for the Sew Make Bake dress, and I was going to use it for that, but then I was browsing around and I found another pattern that I think this would just look so cute in. So we're changing course. I'm gonna use it for that pattern, and that pattern is a part of this haul, so I will show you that when we get to that. But yeah, I think this fabric is so nice, and I just can't wait to start working with it. Okay, we know that I love to thrift fabric. I visit the thrift store, honestly, like probably twice a week, sometimes even more. And I literally just bolt straight to the fabric section at my local thrift store just to see if they have anything new every couple of days. And while I'm there, I also check out the bed sheet and bed linen section. So I have a pretty nice stack of all thrifted fabrics here. And these were all pretty good finds because there's like a huge yardage of each fabric here. So first we have this really cute floral cotton fabric. And I believe this was a bed sheet, but it's a really old bed sheet, I think. And I'm not too sure what happened, but one edge looks like it had been like sort of ripped off, which is totally fine. But yeah, there's tons of this fabric. I think this would look great if I just wanted to make like the top version of the Lydia and Naomi milkmaid dress. It's a really cute milkmaid style top with elastic all in the waist. So there is a hack where you can kind of just make the top version. But I think even if I have enough of this to make a full dress, like how cute would this be in a dress, right? The other option I was thinking of was making the sit tie top, which I have made before, but in like a black and cream gingham, and doing a hack with that pattern to just make like a Ganni style top, which she does have a sew along on YouTube if you're interested in using that pattern to make that style of top. Do you have any other billowy, loose, flowy top patterns that you think this could look good in? Let me know. I'm always looking for more top patterns since all I make are dresses, but I think this will look nice for that. The next thrifted fabric is a bed sheet, and I'm so glad I found this. This was like practically brand new, and it was very crisp when I picked it up, but I did wash it and now it has softened up a little bit, so that's kind of nice. But I thought this would be so nice and breathable for just like a cute matching set for summer, like maybe a button-up top. I'm thinking of using this to make the Mara pants from Vicky Sews. Those are just like a basic elastic waistband, long pant, very loose and flowy. They would just be so comfortable for the summer or for vacation. Now, to go with those Mara pants, I think the Lucy top, also from Vicky Sews, would look great in this fabric too, and then that way you get like a cute little two-piece set. So I think that's my plan for this fabric, but we'll see. With the next fabric, it actually is a fabric and not a bed sheet, but it is this huge like pink rose motif cotton, and this fabric is so wide. I'm pretty sure this was some kind of drapery or like curtain sort of fabric, but it also doesn't feel heavy enough for that, so I'm not really sure why this fabric was so wide. But yeah, there was just tons and tons of this fabric, so I just decided to pick it up. Now I do prefer my floral prints to be a little bit more on like the dainty, ditzy side. This is quite large, but I think with the right dress pattern, this could make a really big statement and it could look quite nice. I'm sure there's gonna be other patterns that come out this year that I could probably use this for. So the last thrifted fabric is yet another gingham. Although I don't know if you would call it gingham because the check is pretty large, but it looks very similar to the Blackbird fabric. So it's this one here. Obviously looks just like a picnic blanket, but this was a king size duvet. So there is tons and tons of fabric here. Now I was kind of bummed out with the gingham that I had picked up from Blackbird because I had originally wanted to make it in that sew make bake dress. And then I found another pattern that I really liked and I was like, oh no, what do I do? So then when I was at the thrift store and I found this, I was like, this is perfect. And the reason why this fabric is perfect is because there is a little bit of structure to it. It's like slightly crisper, which is so great for the pattern that I'm pattern testing right now. The fabric that's required for that dress needs just a little bit more structure, so I think this will be so perfect for it. Since I have so much of this fabric, I think I might make another dress too. I think I might try to make the Vicky Sew's Clarissa dress. So that dress is a nice like sheared top with billowy sleeves, and I think it's a pretty simple project too, and I actually already have the pattern. I cut it out like 8 months ago and never got around to sewing it. So I think in a couple months, I will probably be using that pattern with this fabric. Okay, so there were some pattern recommendations when I went through all of the fabric, but the one pattern that I did pick up recently is a Vogue pattern. So it is the Vogue 9076, and it is this dress here. There's 3 different views, and there's like 2 shorter ones and then like a midi length. So I love that. Obviously I'm gonna do the midi length one, but I just think this pattern looks so classic and so nice, and it's gonna look perfect in that Blackbird fabric. So I'm excited to work on this in a couple of weeks. I haven't used one of these like commercial patterns in a really long time, and these are like what I learned how to sew with, and I will say like I prefer all of like the indie pattern companies these days, but I'm ready to give this a go again. The issue that I've had with a lot of these patterns is they're all drafted for a much taller height. So I've always had to make adjustments since I'm only 5'2", but I think I have a little bit more confidence in adjusting my patterns now, so I think it'll be fine. So you might see a video of me making this dress soon. I also picked up some buttons, and these are from a supplier called Whack or whatever. Like, it's such an awkward word to say, I think, but I just got 2 sets of buttons. So I got the Toronto horn buttons in dark tan, and then the same in brown, and these are slightly matte buttons, and I got 2 sets because I wasn't sure which set I wanted to use. But basically I have plans to make another trench coat. Working on my dream trench coat earlier this year gave me a lot of confidence to make another one. So we are going to be making the Vicky Sew's Enola trench coat, and I've already bought the pattern. I think I'm a size 8 because it's like slightly loose, but it's not as oversized as the first trench that I had made, the Vicky Sew's Idane trench. So I'm excited. This pattern is not a part of their course. It's just like a standalone pattern. So unfortunately there won't be like a video sew along or anything, but I think the 2 are similar enough that I'll be able to figure it out on my own. So I got these 2 sets of buttons just to kind of play around with and see which ones I wanted to use. So if you did watch the Idane trench coat video that I had made, you'll know that I had a really big issue finding different sizes of these like buckles for that trench. But I was at Leather and Supply a few weeks ago, and I just kind of took my time and like dug around there, and they had a whole section with these like horn buckles, and I'm so excited because these are the exact size that I need for the Enola trench. And now looking at it, I think I'll probably end up using the dark tan buttons to go with this. So great find, very excited about these. So we're moving on to the tools section now. The first tool that I recently picked up is a new ruler. I have never replaced my clear ruler, and I've just been using the clear ruler that I've had since I was in fashion school. And I looked at it recently and realized that all of the 1 and little markings along the edges were like basically faded off. Honestly, a clear ruler is just great to have. But yeah, it is quite a stark difference to see this one next to my old one. So some exciting sewing tools that I picked up recently are new scissors and new fabric shears. And I actually got 4 pairs, so we'll go through all of them. So these scissors and shears are all from LDH Scissors. They are a Toronto company, they're Canadian, they are great. I've been using a lot of their scissors for years now, and I have a selection of their scissors put aside for whenever I'm teaching my sewing workshops. So I picked up 2 pairs of these gold handle snips. I have the 3.5-inch ones, and these are the 5-inch ones. I just found that these like sit more comfortably in my hand, and I just need to replace my thread snips every now and then. They get dull very easily, so I think these are just gorgeous, and I'm excited to have these ones sitting on my machines. So I also ordered some traditional fabric shears from them. I got a pair of 9-inch scissors, so they look like this. Honestly, I just have a lot of fabric shears, and it's because I use them for certain aspects of when I'm running my business. So they just kind of dull very easily, or they get loose, or they get damaged. So I just wanted like 2 new pairs that I could just use specifically for when I'm like doing my own personal sewing. So these are the 9-inch traditional shears. They're just absolutely beautiful. They feel really nice and adjusted for tension and everything right now. So yeah, I'm excited to try these. And then the last pair of scissors from LDH are these midnight black fabric shears. And these are the 11-inch ones. I always like to have like a smaller pair and then like a bigger heavy duty pair. Oh my gosh, that looks so nice. So these are all black and they feel like really nice and hefty. I can't wait to cut into some fabric with these. I'm so excited. Oh, something that they included was this tote bag, which I was not expecting, but it looks so nice. Like this is the anatomy of a pair of fabric shears, and then at the back, it's just all of their scissors and fabric shears and rotary cutters. They also have rotary blades and rotary cutters, other types of thread snips and all that. So cute. Another tool that I picked up recently is this guy. So some of you might know what this is for, and some of you might be like, what the heck is this? This is a thread spool holder. So I primarily sew on my industrial machine, so I don't actually really need this, but every now and then I need to do certain steps on my domestic machine, whether that's like buttonholes or just sewing like certain steps that only the domestic machine can do. So because I sew on my industrial machine though, all of my thread spools look like this. And obviously these do not fit on the domestic machine. So with this guy, I can just pop my thread on there, loop it through here, and then I can just set this next to my domestic machine and use these threads like usual. There are hacks to use these thread spools with a domestic machine. You can use like a jar or like a cup and just kind of like keep this in there, but I just wanted to get one of these guys. I've been wanting one for a while, so I picked that up. Okay, we're on to the last things that I picked up recently, and these might look kind of funny, but they are basically just washers from the hardware store. And I use these as pattern weights. I've been using like the flat electrical plates also from the hardware store. They work great too, but I just wanted something a little bit smaller because the electrical plates I think are like around like 4x4 inches or something. So just having like a set of these is just great to weigh your patterns down. I know you can make your own pattern weights, but I just love how like flat these are. Honestly, if you need pattern weights, just check out your local hardware store. Like you'd be surprised at how many sewing related things you can actually find there, whether it's like grommets or like scissors or anything like that. So that is everything I picked up recently. Lots of new fabrics, lots of new sewing supplies. I'm very excited about everything. If you've heard of any of these brands or found this video useful or helpful at all, let me know in the comments. If I can find the link to anything I've shown in this video, I will just link it in the description below, and all of the pattern recommendations will be linked below too. My sewing Instagram, my business Instagram, and my business website are also down below, and I will see you in the next video.